Hey guys, Leftward out here, and today I wanted to go over the weapons you'll be able to farm for the next few weeks in the Solstice event. These weapons are all surprisingly good this time around, and I'll be grinding some of the roles in the next few weeks. Well, I say the next few weeks. I somehow managed to get 3 of the 4 weapon roles I wanted after my first activity completion. For starters, let's go over the newest weapon, Fortunate Star. It is a void, lightweight frame bow and can get a stupidly quick draw time. This comes from the fact it can get Archer's Gambit, Successful Warm-Up, and Vice Stinger. Archer's Gambit decreases this weapon's draw time from 527 milliseconds to 211 milliseconds. Successful Warm-Up decreases it to 132 milliseconds. And when Vice Stinger procs, the draw time becomes 112 milliseconds. Throw in a draw time Masterwork and Elastic String to bring it down to 97 milliseconds. Sorry for the quick interruption, I wanted to throw up a quick example of the draw time. So here it goes once, and here it goes twice. Archer's Gambit grants the weapon a 60% decreased draw time when landing precision hits while hip firing. It is worth noting that since bows fire a projectile, you can quickly release the ADS button after firing an arrow to activate the perk, while keeping all the benefits of ADS. Successful Warm-Up also decreases this weapon's draw time, but only by 37.5% for 6 seconds after final blows. If you're looking for another good roll, go for Repulsor Brace and Destabilizing Rounds. Repulsor Brace will grant you a Void Overshield on final blows against Void debuffed enemies. Destabilizing Rounds cause enemies to explode into a burst of Void energy, dealing damage and applying the volatile Void debuff, which will cause enemies to explode after receiving enough damage. If you're not a big fan of Void subclasses, try out Kill Clip. Since bows reload after every round, you essentially get an instant 25% damage buff on final blows. Combine this with Successful Warm-Up for a shorter draw time during the duration of your damage buff. Something new we can talk about is the fact that Something New now has access to Demolitionist in the 3rd column, along with Headstone in the 4th column. This is a godsend for any Stasis subclass. Just use Whisper Shards along with this roll to generate your grenade as quickly as possible. Demolitionist grants 10% of your grenade energy on final blows. If it's a precision final blow, then the stasis crystal will spawn on target's location. Destroying this crystal will activate Whisper Shards and grant you 6 seconds of 600% grenade recharge rate. Of course, if you're looking for a generic roll of this weapon, I'd recommend replacing Headstone with Frenzy or Wellspring. Frenzy will grant 15% weapon damage, along with 100 handling and reload, and is incredibly easy to activate. It requires receiving or dealing damage from any source with any weapon equipped no more than 5 seconds apart for 7 seconds total. This also maintains the perk if already activated. On the less damaging side, Wellspring grants 8% ability energy split evenly across all uncharged abilities. As for PvP rolls with this weapon, you can either go for Kill Clip or Precision Instrument. Kill Clip will grant the weapon a 25% damage buff for 5 seconds, activated by reloading shortly after a final blow. This translates to a 2-tap headshot against any Guardian tier 6 resilience and below, or a 2-head 1-body for any Guardian tier 9 resilience and below. I'd personally choose this trait as I find the prospect of getting 2 taps a lot more alluring than alternative, that being Precision Instrument, which increases the weapon's precision hit damage every time you damage an enemy with the weapon. This only lasts for about a second after scoring a hit on an enemy, so don't expect to be running around with a stupidly high damaging weapon. In reality, this translates to you being able to 2-head 1-body any Guardian of any resilience. For the 3rd column, I'd suggest going for To the Pain. This will increase your weapon's handling and aim assist up to 20 points for as long as you have it out. This brings your handling to 50 at max and your aim assist to 80 at max. For the barrel, mag, and masterwork, I'd suggest maximizing your range as far as you can, with full bore, accurized rounds, and arranged masterwork. This puts you at 93 range, or about 39.5 meters before damage drops off. Despite this, the best perk refresh has to be the crowning Duologue. Seriously, it went from garbage bin trash to a really nice weapon to complement your strand-centric DPS rotations, also known as Euphony DPS. I'm gonna be real here, there's only one good roll of this weapon, that being the crowning duo of Reconstruction and Bane Switch. Reconstruction lets the weapon reload up to 2 rounds automatically, and Bane Switch gives the weapon a 30% damage buff after dealing damage with all your weapons. This rocket launcher isn't as good as Apex Predator, mind you. Adaptive frame rocket launchers have an intrinsic 10% damage buff, while precision frames have an intrinsic 5% damage debuff. This leads to adaptive frame rocket launchers having slightly more than a 15% damage increase when compared to precision frames. Now let's reorient ourselves from pure PvE to PvP with the Compass Rose. Not to say it doesn't have any good PvE roles, but it has better PvP potential. For starters, it is a precision frame solar shotgun. Precision frame shotguns are probably the best frames for PvP, having a vertical avicular spread. A lot of hunters using Golden Gun and warlocks using Well of Radiance or the new super will appreciate the ability to use harmonic mods as well. As for the actual perks of this weapon, use the traits Threat Detector and Opening Shot. Then for the barrel magazine and Masterwork, use Barrel Shroud, Accurized Rounds, and a Handling Masterwork. Top this all off with a quick access sling for minimal ready speed. Opening Shot gives both a range and aim assist buff for your first shot of your attack, 15 range and 13 aim assist when enhanced. This buff only applies for the first shot you fire and will reset after 3.1 seconds of not firing the weapon. Threat Detector is used just for handling, and you will gain 25 handling with an additional 10% reduction in your swap speed. This effect only applies when an enemy is within 15 meters of you, but it's a shotgun, so good luck hitting someone with them past that range. Some people talk about using Slickdraw instead, as it gives you a guaranteed 100 handling and a 5% reduction in your swap speed, but it lowers your auto-aim cone by 50%. This would seem pretty nice on a shotgun, but when compared to Threat Detector, the benefits are minimal. Since Slickdraw grants a passive 100 handling, the benefits are at their greatest when you are close to 0 handling as possible. So, assuming you're using Rifled Barrel to reduce your handling by 15 for the worst possible handling, and a quick access sling that works on a scalar. Activated Threat Detector gives the weapon a 32 millisecond ready speed, while Slickdraw will give the weapon an 18 millisecond ready speed. Now, let's assume you had the Handling God Roll, Barrel Shroud, and a Handling Masterwork, along with a quick access sling. Threat Detector gives you a 22 millisecond ready speed, and Slickdraw continues to give an 18 millisecond ready speed. So Slickdraw gives an advantage of 14 milliseconds at best, or a 4 millisecond lead at worst. So should you give up Threat Detector for Slickdraw? You really shouldn't. This at best is literally less than a frame's difference at 60 FPS. It is quite literally impossible to notice for 99% of the people viewing this. I would throw up an example on screen of how quick this is, but I can't upload videos above 60 FPS. With that said, those are the roles you'll want to go for this Solstice. While I did say I won't need to grind too much this Solstice, between starting and finishing the script for the video, I did realize I'm going to have to grind for my Solstice armor. So, see y'all in EAZ. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps out a ton and lets me know you like the videos. If you don't, dislike the video and tell me how dumb I am for not uploading this video on a Tuesday. Have a good one, y'all.